Man, you were talking about Cool Runnings before.
Yeah.
Great movie. Our equivalent, our real life sort of Australian equivalent is doing a Bradbury, right?
Bradbury. But that was different.
Steven Bradbury?
That was different.
Oh, it's different. I agree. What do you
He
say? It's different?
won. He won.
He got the
medal.
main thing.
At the gold medal.
Yeah, 100%. You're 100% right.
But okay, so backtrack. Bradbury.
Steven Bradbury won the 90. Which one did you win? Sorry.
Speed skating thing, right?
2002.
What? We don't do very good at these.
Salt Lake City Winter Olympics.
And traditionally, Australians aren't in the mix for these. What happens? We got some skaters.
We've got that's sort of the interesting thing, right? So he's known for winning this gold medal. In 2002, and he was lagging behind the whole field, and the whole field just falls over on the last turn, and he just skates through for the gold. And then everyone kind of like jokes about it, like doing a Bradbury is like, essentially it's not giving up when
beating all the
odds, stuff like that. But
getting lucky, like he got really lucky. That's not meant to happen.
Okay, exactly right. I think getting lucky is kind of what it is synonymous with. But I feel like it just does a colossal disservice to focus only on that one lucky moment. Where it's really hard not to, right? Because it's such a big thing. So in the early 90s, he was involved in ice skating, right? So an Australian involved in ice skating right at the beginning of in its infancy. So he was in like the first relay team and stuff way back when. And we actually were the reigning world champions in 92.
Oh, we got some skaters.
Yeah. They won the 5K relay. Back when I guess it put us on the map, right? So we'd never won a Winter Olympic medal ever. And they become the reigning world champs. And so they head into the 92 Winter Olympics. And
that would be 94, right? Because 92 was Barcelona, right?
90, it was the 91 world champs.
Okay.
And then the 92 Winter Olympics, they came in as the reigning world champs.
But hang on. Because 92 was Barcelona. Did they used to do the Winter Olympics in the Summer Olympics?
For some reason, there was one in 92 and 94. I don't think they'd figured it out. They were doing it every odd year to the Olympics.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, I was looking at this recently, and I was that confused me as well because it's not a 4-year gap.
Yeah, okay. Maybe that was a thing that got brought in.
Or I just completely missed that anyway. So in the 94, he was in the relay team. So he came in 92 and he was relegated to the reserve. So he didn't actually even, he didn't sort of, I guess, make the team. I don't know if someone else came in or he just wasn't performing. I'm not sure. But then in the 94 Winter Olympics, he won Australia's first ever Winter Olympic medal. And this is more so when he's in his prime, right? You can imagine he's pretty young at this point in his career. And he came into the 1K event as the favourite, the solo, the individual 1K. He was in the favourite, and he was pushed over by a competitor who was subsequently disqualified, and he was knocked over by a rival in the 500 metre. So that was a fail.
Well, wait. If you come second and the guy gets DQ'd in the first place, you win, right?
Because once someone's pushed you out, they get DQ'd, but the race just goes on. Right, so if you don't finish in the top two, that's how it works. So you have to finish in the top two to qualify. If someone pushed you over, they don't do a replay. I think in some weird circumstances they might, because when Bradbury won, they said, "Oh, we don't know if it's going to stand or not," and then the commentator was like, "No, I think it's going to stand," like because there was no, I don't know what they look into. And then in the 94 World Championships. He was in a crash where a competitor's ice skate sliced right through his thigh.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
All 4 quadricep muscles.
Oh, my God.
When his heart rate's over 200 beats per minute.
Yeah, right. Okay, so bad news bears. He's kind of got really unlucky. It's the opposite of Bradbury so far.
Well, yeah, so far, right? But most people don't. So he said he thought he was going to die if he lost consciousness.
Yeah, right, because his blood was pumping
He's
quick.
bleeding out on the ice. So he had 111 stitches, 3 weeks where he was unable to move, and apparently it was a 1.5 year recovery.
Wow.
So he gets his stitches, gets going again. 98 Winter Olympics.
Right.
Comes in, is regarded as a contender in the 500 meter and the 1K, impeded in collisions in both. Another fail.
No way.
Yeah. Apparently it's pretty common. It must be pretty common, right, in this kind of speed ice skating, the short distance.
Right. Hang at the back. Wait.
Yeah, right. And September 2000, a skater falls in front of him at training. He tries to jump over him, but he clips him. No. Trips headfirst into barriers and fractures his C4 and C5 vertebrae.
Oh no! Where are they on your?
That's high up in your neck, like right in a critical part of your neck. I think they're one of the more functional vertebrae. So he's got a month and a half in a halo brace.
Oh shit! I didn't know this speed skating sport was so fucking deadly. I didn't know that. I thought it was just dudes going around the track.
I know, right?
With their cool shaped helmets. Yeah, do they wear the bike style sort of helmets? Do they wear those?
They've got some kind of helmet, but it's not as slick as you would think.
No, you know the ones I'm thinking about in the velodromes.
Yeah, I mean the ones the teardrop ones that go right back.
They wear regular helmets.
Oh, okay, maybe now they probably have cool ones. But yeah, he gets a bunch of pins and plates and things into his skull and his chest. Doctors told him he'd never take the ice again, right? Classic. Yeah. I reckon this is a classic doctor move, right?
How many times do they say that?
And so he butters up 2002 Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
He's told everyone he concedes his best is behind him in terms of challenging for medals, but he wants to be back on the ice and representing his country. So, and then it comes to the 1K, right?
Yeah.
So the fields are 5 athletes. It's like, you have a heat of 5.
Okay, yeah. So they're doing heats,
through.
Like sprint racing and everything.
It's like a knockout, essentially, and you just kind of keep going. In the quarterfinal, he's allocated to the same race as the favourite for the host nation, being the US, and the reigning world champ. So he finishes third, and he thought he was eliminated, as he ordinarily would be. And after the fact, they disqualify one of the 2 winners, and so he gets through on like a bit of charity.
Okay.
So he goes through to the semi-final, like you alluded to before. His strategy becomes. He knows he can't compete with these guys because he's just not in his prime. He's just rubbish, right? It's just an absolute turd out there. So his strategy is just to sort of lag behind, survive, don't get caught up in any crashes, and hope for the best.
Good plan.
Great plan. So in the semi-final, the whole field crashes, and he goes through the final.
Yeah.
Final.
Wait. That happened in the lead up to
the semi-final as well.
Oh. So he goes into the final thinking, do that again.
And everyone's laughing, like, he just shouldn't be there. So he can't even keep up when they're just like kind of keeping pace. Watch the video of it. This time, the whole field didn't crash on the last corner in the semi-final. They just did crash out, and he managed to stay upright and get the win that way. Whereas in the final, he's barely in picture. You've forgotten about him. Basil Zemplis is commentating.
Yeah, right.
And on the final corner, they just all skittle. And they're all like, they're like flopping like, salmon upstream trying to get to the finish line, and he just skates on through. And so like naturally that's become, an Insta classic, right? The underdog story. But like there's this sort of general sentiment that is undeserving, right? But his story's so oversimplified. Like in a vacuum, you're like, oh yeah, everyone fell over, and the Australian, gets a victory, and because he's Australian, it seems so unlikely. But he's recovered from more adversity than anyone has ever. Like he's in a sport that Australians don't compete in.
He won the gold medal after the doctor gave him the "you'll never skate again" treatment?
Well, he was part of the team that won Australia's first Winter Olympic medal ever in '94, the relay team. So he's got Australia's first Winter Olympic medal. He's robbed through his prime in '94 to 2000 by competitors crashing into him. No one knows about that.
Returns the favor. You know, he essentially returns the favor, and they sort of give him his just dues with his, you know, with his gold medal. Because these guys, the ones that crashed out, right?
Yeah.
They probably spent 4 years recovering from that mentally, and then came back, dominated, got their own gold medals when Bradbury left. You know, they got their own gold medals.
They get their own. They'll have their chance. They'll have their chance, right? Everyone falls over. So
do you reckon they did?
I hope so. I hope they got their Bradbury moment. But exactly. Yeah, so he nearly bleeds out in '94, breaks his neck in 2000. In the lead up to 2002, he had to borrow $1,000 from his parents to fix his car so he could go to training, right? Because it's not a lucrative venture that he's pursuing.
Oh, no.
Right? No one gives a shit, right? He defies the doctors, represents Australia at the Olympics.
Gets into the final somehow.
He's also, it's his fourth Olympics, so it's he's equaled the record for the most number of Winter Olympics. Yep. He's the oldest bloke in the field. He acknowledges that publicly that he's got no chance of medaling. And you just focus on, and his gold was the first gold medal of anyone in the Southern Hemisphere at the Winter Olympics.
Wow, that is a big stat.
So, I mean, I like get almost offended when people say, like, when they use doing a Bradbury like you've got lucky. I'm like, yeah, fucking if you've broken your neck and bled out on the ice and turned up to training with no money and done 12 years in a sport that, like, no one gives a shit about, yeah, then you've done a Bradbury. If you just like, you know, fall ass backwards into some money or something.
You don't even think that he got lucky in the end. You think that it was not that he got lucky on the day, but it was hard work for 10 years, 20 years.
He got his just desserts.
Yes.